Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. According to The Guardian, the MUDRYK deal is done and dusted. And we're going to be diving into the suggestions that Arsenal will now try to sign a midfielder in the last days of the transfer window. There is also a right back, Ivan Frasneda from Real Valladolid, that we are looking at. We're going to be diving into that story as well. Leandro Trossard, a centre forward and a centre back, and Mikel Arteta, and of course, Martin Odegaard winning awards in December. All that in the podcast. Hit the like button. Let's get this video to 600 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 70,000, and I'm really itching. So make sure you get us there, but subscribing if you've not already done so. Hit the like button if you've not done as well on this video. Now, first and foremost, let's get into it. Mikel Arteta was voted manager of the month last December. I think it was December, November. Both months were actually combined. Now, Martin Odegaard as well was voted player of the month, November and December, right? And listen what I'm going to say here, lads. I think I've talked about this on the channel a lot of times. Mikel Arteta, for me, this campaign has to win every manager of the month award, and an Arsenal player is going to win every player of the month award, because the level at which we are playing, the level at which we are executing these tasks is actually unbelievable. The difference between Arsenal's campaign and Arsenal this campaign, the difference between Arsenal 5 years ago and the Arsenal we have right now is absolutely phenomenal. Not only in the market, where we have been actually very swift and very effective, but on the pitch as well. We are on top of the table. We are playing very well. We're playing very good football, and the world is actually against us. The FA is banning and penalizing our manager and our players all the time. We are having all these complaints from pundits. We're having all this heat from media houses and all that, things that are actually uncalled for. And we are still standing very strong. December, after the World Cup, I think that is where we really showed our quality. Everyone had that question in mind. Are Arsenal going to keep on keeping? Are Arsenal going to keep on winning? Keep on getting those results that they so badly need? West Ham in the London Derby and Brighton, one of the games that you've got to think about, especially at the Amex. De Zerbi must be asking himself this question. How have they come here and picked up 3 points and scored more than 3 goals on this stadium? How have they done that? So I think for me, Mikel, December, November, did we lose the game? No. Did we actually drop any points? No. I think the only game we lost was again Brighton. It was in the Carabao Cup and we were knocked out, but the rest is history. So Mikel, I'm gonna say this: best manager in November, best manager in December, best manager by a mile so far this campaign. Martin Odegaard, what should I speak about this guy? Because there's so many good players in this Arsenal team, and for you to stand out, right? For you to stand out and be recognized as best in the team, but then as best in the league as well, it is absolutely phenomenal. The levels at which he's performing football, playing football and performing miracles, they have not yet been seen. I've said that in the next 2-3 years, we might be thinking about Kevin De Bruyne, and we're looking at Odegaard and we're like, okay, this is the guy that is replacing Kevin De Bruyne. Look at what look at the things he does. How calm he is. Those passes into the final third, those assists, those small, slow passes that are breaking, defensive lines apart. He's a gem. He's a gem of a talent, and had a very big part to play for us in December. He's one of the players that have actually come back in form right from the World Cup. Maybe it's because he didn't actually play in the World Cup and he doesn't have that fatigue. He doesn't have that, I don't know, but he's really done very well. So for me, those 2 awards are well deserved. And I think January, yes, we have had a draw already. It's a difficult month. Spurs in there, Manchester United in there, at Brentford as well in there, and Manchester City in the FA Cup. But I'm gonna say this: if you want to win the league, these are months where you have to, where you have to be resilient. These are months where you have to, go and win almost each and every single game. So back to the transfers. Arsenal are now completing the transfer for Mikhailo Mudryk. According to The Guardian, the story has actually just come out a few hours ago, and they've said Arsenal are completing a deal to sign Mikhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk for an eventual fee up to £80 million. They're saying that meaning their long-term pursuit of the player is on the verge of a successful conclusion, reporting at Nick Amsey for The Guardian. Now, of course, we've talked about this story. The fee has been agreed. The structure is being talked about, and a couple of items. But what is actually important in this video is, where do Arsenal go? Where do we go after here? Who is the player we are targeting after signing Mikhailo Mudryk? And more and more sources are now pointing and targeting Yuri Tielemans, the player that now the rumors are turning to. Is the player that all media houses are actually turning to. With the reports that I've looked at, indicating that Yuri Tielemans will be desperate for a January move out of Leicester City. So Arsenal have already agreed personal terms. There is no question there. It's all about Arsenal going to Leicester and agreeing a deal for Yuri Tielemans. And when I say this, I think many people have looked at this deal as one that can be waited, or that one that can wait until the summer. But I don't think in that way. Look, financially, it makes a lot of sense that Arsenal will spend over 40 or 50 million euros on Mikhailo Mudryk up front. So it makes a lot of sense for us to get Yuri Tielemans on a free, Evan Dika on a free, and a couple of other signings in the summer, so that we stay in line with FFP rules and all that. But I've looked at Granit Xhaka in the second part of the season, and it's been 3 games now, okay? And I've looked at him, and I think he will need some rotation. I think Arsenal will need to do whatever we need, or, we think or we can, in order to bring in, someone who can actually provide us with that same quality. Fabio Vieira might not be the guy at the moment. Albert Sambi-Lokonga definitely is not the guy. I've seen Mikel Arteta fidget, trying to, use Albert Sambi-Lokonga in a few instances. And in my opinion, I've gone, what are you trying to do? What exactly is this? What exactly is happening? What is happening? What is happening right now? Albert Sambi-Lokonga is not a bad player, but in my opinion, for Christ's sake, he should be playing where Partey plays, or he should be quitting and going to another club and find that perfect role. Because for me, I don't think he fulfills. I don't think he gives us what Xhaka is giving us at the moment. And even if we are to rotate Xhaka at the moment, Lokonga is not the perfect fit. Fabio Vieira is just new to the Premier League, and you think it might be a lot of work, a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and the experience that a player like Granit Xhaka brings you, the pedigree, the leadership. I don't think Fabio Vieira actually carries that. So that's why I think Yuri Tielemans would be a very nice buy in January. Leicester City are saying it should be 20 million euros for him to walk, and that 20 million euros definitely means we are not selling. He's working for free in the summer. I was watching Football Daily, and one of my key presenters on the Winners and Losers show is a Leicester fan, and was saying that for them it is actually okay with Leicester City, with Yuri Tielemans working in the summer, just making sure that they can stay in the league, maybe 14th, maybe 12th, right? Just making sure that they're in that danger-free zone, and then he can actually live in the summer. So Arsenal will try to get this one done, in my opinion, in January. We will try until the last minute. If it fails, then definitely it is one to do in the summer. But there are rumors that Leicester City are not actually going to be caught off guard. They have already started identifying a few replacements for Yuri Tielemans, and Zidane Ounahi, the Moroccan player, is one of the players that we are actually looking at as potential replacements for Yuri Tielemans. Now, Zidane Ounahi, most of you will have recognized the name in the World Cup. Personally, I got to know about him in the World Cup, and I stopped actually following him in the World Cup. But it's a player that's been linked with a couple of teams, including but not limited to Newcastle, Leeds United, Manchester United. Look, the problem with United is they're linked with anyone at this point. But Liverpool as well, linked with them. Linked with them as well. So I think the question here, guys, is if we don't get Yuri Tillemans, could we try some of these options? Maybe Zidane Unahi, maybe Amrabat, maybe those kind of players that have actually shown in the World Cup. But anyway, Arsenal's focus is still Yuri Tillemans. I've seen a few stories about Serge Milinkovic-Savic, but that could only happen if we fail to get Yuri Tillemans, who is still our priority. So the conditions will actually have a very, very big determinant. Will be a very, very big determinant on who goes where in January, and whether Arsenal get Yuri Tillemans as a second signing of the winter transfer window. I'm not really sure it happens in January. I'm quite very, very concerned, because if it doesn't happen in January, then he can talk to any other club overseas, right? So it's gonna be two-way. The first way is he agrees a deal with a club outside the Premier League, maybe Leicester, maybe Madrid, maybe Monaco, because Monaco also want to take him back, maybe Juve. Any club that is outside the Premier League can actually talk and tie Yuri Tillemans to a contract, right? And then the other option is to reconvince him. I don't know how we're going to do this, because he was disappointed that Arsenal didn't actually go in for him, pay the money that Leicester City wanted. So we have to reconvince him, buy his trust once again, tell him, right, okay, this time we're getting you on a free. Personal terms already are great. After the end of the season in July, pack your bags and come to the Emirates Stadium. That could be also an alternative. And given the fact that Arsenal are now in position to go to the UEFA Champions League, given the fact that Arsenal are in position to give him all these fancy things, UCL, like I said, maybe him coming in and next season we challenge for the title, real challenging for the title. Maybe in the next 2-3 years, Arsenal are challenging for the for UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Champions League trophy. All those kind of beautiful incentives could actually pull him closer to the project and pull him closer to Arsenal. So Yuri Tillemans could be the next one, but he could be not the next one, because the next one as well is a player that I understand is a right back, 18-year-old 18-year-old Spanish young talent, Ivan Fresneda, playing at Real Valladolid at the moment. Contract runs down in 2025, and current market value, transfer market, please come on. You cannot have these ridiculous transfer market values on players. His transfer market value actually on the transfer market website is 1 million euros. As I was like, okay, wait a minute. But he's 18. His contract has 3 years to go. 2 years to go. I can't see him. I can't see him being 1 million euros, like worth 1 million euros. Not at the moment. So the value that's actually Real Valladolid are looking at is around 10 million euros. Mikel Arteta is a very, very big fan of the Spaniard, and I understand that it is not only Arsenal interested. Leeds United have inquired. Nottingham Forest have inquired. Newcastle have inquired about the availability of the young Spanish talent as well. Now, the big story about Ivan Fresneda is that he has apparently told his representatives that he would love to play for Arsenal. He would love to sign for Arsenal. And Arsenal have told him to wait, because a deal could be struck between the 18th of January until the end of the transfer window. Okay, that's kind of freaky. And it doesn't come from the strongest sources ever. So I don't want us to buy a lot of hope into it. But it's another player Arsenal looking at. Of course, we know Arsenal do want a right back. I think to back up Ben White a little bit. And also someone who's a little bit different from Ben White, so that we can actually spice up things on that right-hand side of the defense. So let's wait and see if Ivan Fresneda is an option that Arsenal will strongly talk about and discuss. Now, the other player I wanted us to talk about is Leandro Trossard. De Zerbi, the manager at Brighton, has been speaking about the situation between him and the player. Leandro Trossard has left training without informing the manager, and apparently he's now in Belgium. So what actually happened is that De Zerbi told the player, you won't get involved in the next game over the weekend for Brighton. Trossard didn't take that very well, didn't take the information very well, was ill-disciplined, and then, he just left the last training session without even telling the manager where he was going and why he was actually leaving. De Zerbi's words are very, very, very concrete and very, very strong. He says, I've told the player I don't like this kind of behavior, and if you're going to work with me or Brighton, and I'm the manager, you're going to have to change your ways. Now, this could be for two ways. One, Leandro Trossard is one of the free agents in the summer, and I think he's looking at himself as a player who can get a very juicy deal in this January transfer window. But then also, it could be that the player is just unhappy that he's not going to play. I mean, these things actually happen. But the biggest rumor is that Leandro Trossard is being eyed by Tottenham Hotspur. I don't want to lie on the podcast to say, Arsenal actually in the head of Leandro Trossard. No. It is Spurs that are actually disturbing this boy. But Mikel Arteta is a very, very big fan of... Why do I keep on saying fan? Fan of Leandro Trossard. And he's one of the players that we've looked at for some time. He's 29, free agent. I think if you want to beef up your attack, if you want a versatile player who can play in midfield, play on the left-hand side of the pitch as well. Of course, we have so many players who play on the left-hand side. Smith Rowe, MUDRYK now, TIELAMANS. We have so many players who can play there. Andres Nelson. So maybe Trossard could be a midfield addition. I believe it can be. It can be a very, very expensive and valuable addition if Arsenal decided to do that. I'm not really sure, but Trossard, his contract situation dictates that Arsenal could have an opportunity, or any other club could have an opportunity. And finally, Arsenal could try to sign a centre forward or a centre back this January, but the likelihood that we get another centre forward and the centre back is very, very slim. All these are deals that we are going to be doing in the summer, according to The Athletic. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I don't think I'll be uploading another video unless I have a breaking story. I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. My preview for the Tottenham game, the North London Derby, my predicted lineup, and of course, how to beat Tottenham Hotspur coming your way very, very soon. Good night.